Master, you have some butt. Please just take some butt.
Hi. It smells good in here.
How are you today? Is Master gonna sell us tomorrow? Is Master gonna sell us mama? Yes.
Rest in peace to that lady. Okay,
Yeah,
so we're getting a treat for our ancestors.
Yep. Not a whole fifth though, huh?
Maybe
We're gonna be pouring for a long time. They were like, you can't do that. Because I don't know what time the liquor store is closed out here.
7 p.m.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. We have to close right now.
So
Right
like
on the dot.
6:59, really.
Well, kind of, because they're very strict here with the South Carolina. And you know what's so funny too? We can't even sell ice. We can't sell soda.
Just liquor.
Just liquor.
Let's get
Even
some
like a
bottles
mixer has to
gin,
have
guys.
1% of alcohol in it. Isn't that weird?
Oh, wow.
I got
Not being able to sell ice is crazy.
They have the. I know. It's so funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh, can I get a bag of ice?" I'm like, "No." I feel so stupid because I can't.
I don't have that.
It makes sense to have ice. It's just
But don't you
ice.
think it makes sense? Yeah. It's funny. Every state's different, so what are you gonna do?
You look like a dog from Scream.
I don't know.
Where's your screen?
I can't think his name. He was in 13 Ghosts too.
You know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Maybe
his name?
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, and Scooby. He was in
Shaggy
Oh,
and
yep.
Scooby Doo. I can't remember. his
Shaggy.
name. And
Yeah, Shaggy
Scooby-Doo.
from Scooby-Doo movie. You
I can't remember his
Scooby-Doo
name.
Well, no, but I know Scooby Doo, but I mean I
That's
don't.
what you look like.
Oh,
Oh.
I think I look like Matthew McConaughey. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm teasing.
Yeah, no.
Yes, you always can see something in somebody. Yeah.
And he got his turquoise on.
I see.
Your ring,
Oh,
your
yeah.
ring. Yes.
Isn't that
Silver.
Yeah, I know.
Are you a witch?
No.
Maybe a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a
He got on those
Maybe a
protective
bitch.
colors.
Just get it.
Have a great
Hey,
day.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in. Appreciate you.
Really be like, no, but we be like, all right, not me, but other people be like, all right, dog, let me walk away because they looking at us. But if it's, they don't think that.
That's okay. They can conjugate.
They can
without
conjugate.
thinking about it. But us,
So
we
I always say
up to
that.
something.
I'll linger. You come linger at my desk for 30 or 45 minutes. I wish somebody would ever come to me and say, oh, you and such and such look like y'all was just having too good of a time. Yeah, we was. And
What does that mean?
but this is what be happening. So like you said, as black people, we're always being watched. They make it obvious that they're watching us. They're observing us. That's why they send these white people. I think for a long time it was a prize. Hey baby, they had to infiltrate the system. Devil knows how to get to you. They put that white on them that seemed unachievable back in the day. They put that on them. Our life, my life and your life is just two completely different.
And you'll never truly understand.
Like never
in the-
understand.
In the pits of your soul, you will just not ever understand.
You cool, and I ain't saying you ain't.
Yeah.
But my plight and your privilege is no intersection.
Yeah.
And I just ain't no ignorant. I'm very cognizant.
You said this is where they worked and lived. This ain't the military.
Worked?
What the fuck are we talking about?
Dude was like, it wasn't work.
Like, don't do that. Like, don't downplay. Like, don't say that like that. Like it was a choice.
Yeah.
This is where they worked. I mean, and I understand by definition, I guess, but no, no. This is where they
By
were
main
held,
definition.
This
They
is
were
where they
held
were
against their will.
That's how they
kidnapped.
should speak.
enslaved.
That's
Like,
how they
why
should
don't you
speak.
say that?
Because that's what it was.
Exactly. Don't say worked and lived. Like, you think that a month, because we're gonna go back and see the slave quarters, and it's gonna be like, you think that 20 people wanted to live in this little ass house?
Right.
You're calling it working and living.
You think that men wanted to watch their wives because they
It's
were so
a slave
sick?
that was 7'2".
Oh, wow.
That all he did all day was have sex with
Black slave.
black women. That was his job. All day. Because they wanted
Them to be big. NBA, NFL.
Yeah. Literally.
Breeding.
That's
Breeding.
all he did. There was doing,
Bucking.
Yeah, that's
Buck.
buck, but then buck breaking is
Buck breaking.
white men would be raping the black men.
Yep, the big black men. They would. That's why them things would you have to go in like this,
Yeah.
so that they could buck break. So
They would take
and they clamp their so they stay hard throughout it.
They would take women's babies and they would kick the baby's head off. Decapitate the baby.
By kicking.
Yeah. They would
The
bury
women
their
that they raped.
shoulders and then they would kick their head off. Basically.
So the women that they raped, and then they their child.
They would do it
That
to,
child.
they would do it to all types, like
Anybody.
Yeah,
Just to keep you.
in line. They mentally tore us apart. We got 6 minutes left.
Okay. You want a shot?
I'll take one.
He's like, yeah, I'll take one. That's what I said. Everybody that I told we was coming to Charleston. Anyway, when I be like, we going down to Charleston, they be like, yeah, be careful down there. Be careful with your energy. The energy is heavy. But then when I said we was doing this, everybody was like, just prepare yourself. It's thick.
Whew, my stomach. I got a couple butterflies in here.
It's hot too. I don't even mind. I can't complain because the ancestors is out here.
Yeah, not complaining.
Yeah.
They couldn't complain.
They died.
I'm gonna tell her to get raw. I want to talk about how they raped us. I want to hear all of it. Harriet, thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
And please be as raw as possible. I want to hear it all.
Welcome to McLeod Plantation Historic Site. My name is Harriet and I'll be conducting your tour. Before we begin, I'd like to know your name and where you're from. And we'll start right here.
Cynthia from Detroit.
I'm Shaniqua. I'm from Pontiac, Michigan.
BM from Michigan.
Okay. Well, welcome again to McLeod Plantation Historic Site. We're a member of the International Coalition Sites and Conscience. And so what that means is that we tell the story of slavery from the perspective of the enslaved. And so some things I say might be hard to hear, hard to digest, or even cause a little internal conflict. If that is the case, please take care of you. Feel free to take a minute to meditate and contemplate on what you heard and how it makes you feel, or you can take a short break away from the group. But in the end, I hope you all stay for the entire tour.
She did.
Strange fruit hanging.
Yeah, they killed her for that.
For making that song.
Yeah.
All right, here we are on McLeod Plantation Historic Site. The original plantation was 1,700 acres. We're down to the last 37 acres, and we're in the Oak Alley. At the head of the alley, we have the big house. This would be the space of the McLeods. 3 generations of McLeods lived here, and it's a source of constant pain for the enslaved. Down here, we overlook the burial grounds. This would be the final resting place for the enslaved, their descendants, and the Native Americans. This part of the plantation gives a false romanticized view of what plantations look like, because in the days of the enslaved and the McLeods, this area would have been the back of the plantation. This area was augmented to look like a grand southern home and a grand southern plantation to take advantage of tourism and what people expected a plantation to look like. Now with that, we're going to get closer to the big house and the kitchen house. And so with that, we're going to start with the narrative of the scullion. The scullion would have been a little boy between 7 and 12 years old. He was given the most menial of tasks in this building right here, the kitchen house. One of his daily tasks was to carry food from the kitchen house over here to the big house. And even though this was a short distance, he was not trusted to not taint or to not taste the food. And so, while carrying that heavy hot lidded pot with the family's meal, he had to go on something called a whistle walk. And this just means that he had to whistle from the kitchen house over here to the big house to ensure his enslavers that he was not tainting or tasting the food. That brings us to the narrative of Charles Rivers. Charles Rivers was a young man who grew up here in the big house. We don't know much about Charles's day-to-day life, but we do know about his conception. Charles's conception was the result of a sexual assault on an enslaved woman and an alleged half-brother of the McLeods, John McLeod. We do know that he was eventually accepted by the 3rd generation of McLeods as a cousin. And that's Mr. Willie's generation. Mr. Willie liked all things Southern. And so, in order for Mr. Willie to accept Charles as a cousin, most likely, Charles was very fair-skinned or could pass for white. Now, that brings us to Albert. Albert was given to William Wallace McLeod Jr. for his comfort and his needs. The boys were devoted to each other, and this devotion sealed Albert's lot on the plantation. Much of Albert's story takes place in this room right here, the dining room. Albert was brought into the dining room not to be a guest, but to be placed underneath the table and have food slipped to him during the meal. Many people asked, was Albert satisfied with his lot, or did he want more for himself? Was he envied by, or was he pitied by the enslaved here on the plantation?
Pity, for sure.
We don't know. The only thing that we're sure of is that he was owned by and the possession of William Wallace McLeod Jr., and his life mirrored that of a well-loved pet. Here we are in the vicinity of the camphor tree. Camphor leaves were used to combat coughs, colds, congestion, toothaches, and a host of different ailments. But the enslaved women and their children may have bonded in this area as they gathered the leaves of the camphor tree. We're going to test the medicinal properties of the camphor leaf by pulling one leaf, ripping it and crushing it into your hand, and then taking a quick whiff. It should smell like Vicks Vapo Rub or Campo Finique.
I thought I was doing something wrong.
Your leaf didn't smell like anything. You grabbed the leaf from the muscadine.
The little one. I can It does, yeah. It does smell like Vicks a little bit. Camphor tree. And here is a Spanish moss tree.
Enslaved women would take it, clean it by boiling it, and then they would use it for a certain time of the month. They would stuff it into their shoes or wrap their feet in it to take down blood pressure. They would sew it into cloth to make pillows for kids, and then they would stuff it into wounds for wound care. And then over here we have the pecan tree. You can take the shells of the pecan, boil it into a tea, and it would handle inflammation and digestion. And so this was an area where healing was gathered and applied. Many people asked, did these remedies work? The enslaved women said that they did, and they had to use what was around and what was available to stay well, because a doctor would not be called out here for an enslaved person. This would have been the front of the house at the arrival of a little girl named Leah. Leah and her family were marched here from an area 25 miles north of Charleston called McClellanville. And they were marched in a coffle, which means her parents had ropes around their necks, their hands were tied behind their backs, Leah was tied to her mother's hip, and everyone in the coffle was barefoot. And they were marched through swamps, forests, and canals. And when they reached Charleston, they were then brought to Ryan's Mart, which is now the old slave mart over on Chalmers Street. And they were given paper to clean themselves, but paper doesn't handle dried mud, dried blood, or cracks in your feet. Leah's mom begged, please keep us together, please sell us as a family. Her cries fell on deaf ears. Leah was brought here because the McLeods needed a living doll or a plaything for their youngest child, Annie. I purposely did not use playmate. Playmate denotes equality, and if you've ever seen children and their toys can turn into whatever they need it to be. So if Annie McLeod needed a horsey that day, Leah became the horsey. Now, Leah would have been comforted by the women over in the kitchen house. Her formative years would have been handled by the enslaved women here on the plantation, and she would have recognized the language and the culture of the enslaved people, and that's the Gullah language. Now, that's going to bring us to the driving force of the plantation. And that's the Sea Island Cotton Patch. This is an area of riches, resistance, and robbery. We're going to meet underneath the shade of this tree, and we'll discuss the patch. Now this area doesn't look like much behind me, but this is a Sea Island cotton. flourishing. This was also an area of resistance because the enslaver was okay with you planting the cotton, pulling the cotton, and planting it, cultivating it, and pulling it. But if you were caught with the Sea Island cotton root, it was worse than being caught with a book. Now, that's going to bring us to this area. We're down to the last 6 original cabins on the plantation. These are the original cabins from the days of the enslaved. In the days of the enslaved, there would have been 23 cabins stretching across the highway. The cabins would not be green, the cabins would not be white, they would be green. And anywhere from 2 to 14 people could live in one cabin, and they weren't necessarily related. Now, this area is called Transition Road because of the transition of people who lived here. This area became housing to the tenant farmers. As the debt got worse, then to the sharecroppers, and then to their descendants. This area was in use all the way up until August of 1990.
What the?
I'm sure of it because of rent receipts. These cabins have no running water. The electricity that was in them was modern by 1940 standards, but you can rent 4 for under $35 up until August of 1990.
Unless you're not ready. I'm leaving it here at the tree. A 9-year-old woman.
So we got our jam to pay our respects to our ancestors.
What they do, they just be like we do.
To be honest, I don't think I was ready for this emotionally. This is extremely heavy.
Doorway, you can see the heat shadowing of the children's shoes. If you look in the center of the floor, in the, from the middle of the doorway here. But if you can't make it, I do have that picture on my phone. Now, until the day he died, Mr. Willie's favorite expression was that a fire is a good friend. And so many people feel that Mr. Willie may have been a part of the warning. Now, that's going to bring us to this cabin, and we'll talk about the narrative of John and Evelyn Gathers. John and Evelyn Gathers were descendants of the enslaved who lived here in the late 1940s. They had a daughter named Julia. Julia lived all of 26 days, passed away, and is buried behind cabin number 9.
It's in her. Right here. We should have got more for this.
Yeah.
But who knew?
Baby girl.
And that's the outhouse, I think. No, right there, maybe.
We know it was him because he took pictures. This is him across the street at the burial grounds. This is him in front of the big house where we started.
Disgusting. It's disgusting.
The three people we didn't know very well: Reverend Daniel Simmons, Reverend DePayne Middleton Doctor, and Mr. Tywanza Sanders didn't do anything to warrant being gunned down in the church like that. And I tell these stories to make sure I do my part, to make sure that nothing like this happens again.
So she said there was an outhouse still standing from the 1800s. Need to be careful, it's a lot of thorns in here. But here it is. The energy here is alive.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
So now, like they looked out, and they looked out from any angle they was at, it was nothing. Just a sea of grass.
All they had was
You can't imagine 2 miles of 7 foot tall grass. It looked like forever. Why would you think you got away?
and then the way they conditioned
7 feet tall.
people's minds.
Yeah. They had no navigation. They didn't know what was on the other side. They didn't know what was in there.
No? Mm-hmm. And it's hot in there.
That was acres and acres and acres of fields. Of
Miles.
cotton.
Miles.
Yeah.
Miles.
That way, to the front, to
That
the left,
way,
and the right.
That way. Like I said, if we stood on the road right now, we physically can't assess what a mile would be. So imagine that shit being taller. We're looking at
There
flat
were no
land.
markers, no
We're looking at
indicators.
flat land right now. So it's easy to say, oh, that's probably
Yeah.
1,000 feet away. That's flat. That shit this tall on you, right in your face,
Yeah.
and 2 miles out.
Exactly.
I give you a disclaimer and a way out.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna be no regular type tour. Some things I say might be hard to hear or hard to digest. You can get your $20 back if you go right back in there. We have to be careful. I know I was told to be careful all the time, and even when I started telling people about that fella out here, where he came out here to scope the place out. My former boss, Harriet, could you actually say that? And I just looked at her. She's like, yeah, I know you could.
Are you able to say his name?
I choose not to. He doesn't need notoriety.
Gotcha. But he's the guy that everybody knows for doing what he did. And they gave him McDonald's on his way to
Burger King.
Burger King.
Burger King,
On
yeah.
the way to the police station.
motherfucker unair.
To get a real experience. Insane. Spirituals of the Carolina Low Country. Go the lyrics. I remember driving down the highway in Mississippi and picking a car from the side of the road. I think it was this one that's in Mississippi. I wonder what's upstairs. Thank you.
You've seen this part?
Bedrooms, and then the attic area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Where they said that the lady was kept away from her son. That's the barn she was talking about that used to get punished.
Over here. Lord, this tree old too, an older tree. It's crazy just walking through here like this.
Literally.
Okay, I'll call y'all when I leave. What's this?
I think where they got punished, the punishment barn. It's no literature saying anything about it right here. I wonder why.
Yeah, that was just probably something to do with work. Later.
4 people could boo-boo at the same time.
Oh, nice. Hurry and get back to work. Oh, they had a tissue holder. How kind.
Just a plank of wood. You know how crazy this smells?
And this heat, how much bacteria and
Bacteria. Amoebas. I wonder what this is for.
pit. Remember where they threw Broomhilda?
Mm-hmm.
So here we are at the cemetery. It's across the street from the museum. Obviously, there wasn't a road here years ago, but with time, one was built, and this is what's left of the cemetery. This is what was preserved. Approximately 100 bodies. It's literally more. It's probably more. It's probably bodies buried here. It's bodies buried underground over on the plantation side. When they were excavating things some years back, they said they had to stop digging because they found bodies. So what does that tell you? We don't even know the half, okay? We haven't seen the half, heard the half, nothing. We have no idea. And we never will. We'll never have a full idea of what our ancestors went through. And the shenanigans just stopped in the 90s. August of 1990 is when they shut down those slave homes that you guys saw earlier. So excuse me, please forgive me, all of my people, for walking on top of your graves. Sun is unforgiving down here, and it's muggy and moist because we right out of water.